Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So, what happened today? What happened to Bitcoin? And what's happening with XRP? Did Blackrock file for XRP ETF? Or is it a fake news? Let's talk about it, and let's talk about what's going on in the markets today. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. Today was a confusing day. Somewhat. Although I kind of talked about what could be happening this week in my Sunday video. So I'll get to that. But let's first start with XRP. What's going on? Ever since 4 hours ago, there's been a lot of rumbling about BlackRock filing for an I Trust XRP ETF, which is a spot Bitcoin ETF. And you can see right here on the side, BlackRock is trending and then XRP is trending, right? And then you see a whole bunch of people tweeting stuff like this, like State of Delaware, and you got this iShares, and you got all this documentation, and people are saying this is not false, this is not false, this is not false, right? You get to see all these things, but is it false? Well, we got one guy here who says, yes, it is false. Someone took basically the Ethereum one and changed it up to looks like it's XRP. I mean, it's not really difficult. All you have to do is get rid of the ETH and change it to XRP, right? This Eric guy who has been very credible in the past, he's a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. He's the one that broke previous news about Ethereum spot ETF and also the fake Bitcoin approval, right? This guy seems to have connections within BlackRock. And he said, no, I called in and they confirmed that this is false. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. So I guess, we'll just have to take his word. But I did say this already. If there was going to be another crypto, let me take that back. We already have, two applications, Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? If we were going to get another application for another crypto to have its own spot ETF, I do believe it will be XRP. And it just makes sense, right? XRP is declared non-security, so it makes more sense to have, and because it has such a large presence and such a large market share, it makes sense that XRP would be next. But it seems like not right now. Not right now. This is just fake news. And this is what happened. Immediately afterwards, XRP pumped up to the moon, getting ready to break $1. Then news broke that this may be fake, and then it dumped down, right? So you always got to fact check. Whenever we have these breaking news now, it happens all the time on Twitter or X. You got to be careful. You got to be careful, right? So it does seem like this is fake news for now until BlackRock really does it. Because I do think after the settlement with or between Ripple and the SEC, this may be coming out. Okay, so and basically people start asking whether or not the Ethereum one is true. And yes, they did verify BlackRock does have an Ethereum spot ETF application pending. Okay, so that is true, but the XRP one is not. But as for XRP, you know what? XRP Ledger and Ripple, they're still pressing forward and moving forward. Now they're talking about changing things up, okay, so that NFTs can exist on the ledger, right? That's actually pretty big. Tokenization and NFTs, right? And trading, all that, obviously very popular on Ethereum and other chains. XRP Ledger wants a piece of that. So that may be coming. So, XRP Ledger and Ripple, they're basically both making moves to try to get away from just being bridge currency and a chain for bridge currency, but into a full-fledged L1, which is what it is, right? And Brad Garlinghouse, during the Swell conference, does say that he doesn't believe in maximalism. He does not believe like maximalism, say Bitcoin maxis, are good. That, hey, you know, XRP and Ethereum and others can all live together peacefully, in harmony. You don't need one chain or one coin to dominate all. That's Brad's utopia. And I do agree. I do believe there are too many maxis that really, they're going to a point where they start hurting others by what they say, right? It's one thing to just be a maxi and say, I don't really believe anything else, that's it. But most maxis are not like that. They feel like that's not enough, and they have to go on an attack, right? And they start attacking everything. That's where it becomes harmful. So unfortunately, that we see a lot of that in the space. But, you know, I just think people just don't understand, you know, especially Bitcoin maxis. I think everything else is horrible for the space. I think they just don't understand that there's no worry. Nothing competes with Bitcoin. Everything else is considered altcoin, okay? They're basically their technology companies, their technology protocols. They're not stores of value like Bitcoin. So they really don't compete. And I think if people realize that, then all is well. Okay, now moving past this XRP, what happened with Bitcoin? Why did Bitcoin go down? It's 36,500. So it went down basically a couple, 300, 400 points, right? Since this morning. So why did it show some weakness? Well, this is exactly what I talked about in my Sunday video. And I'm not even sure if this is the end or we may get even more retracement and head down even lower. You know, I said this in my Sunday video. Basically, when you start seeing a lot of random pumps out of nowhere, especially from a lot of projects that really don't have any news, nothing big to show forth, and all of a sudden you see a lot of them go up like 30 or 40% in a day and like up 100% in within a week, right? We have seen periods like that before. And there's one or two things that follows. Either one, that's a local top, meaning for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going to retrace a little bit. And when it does, it's going to pull the alts down in a major way. So it's just basically whales and market makers manipulating the markets and trying to maximize gains before they pull out. So that's option one. Option two is, or option A, option B. Option B is that the whales are doing that and market makers are doing that to maximize gains, and then they're going to put it back into Bitcoin and pump it to the moon. So it's one of two things usually when we see periods like this, right? Not just a usual climb, but yeah, there has been a lot of crazy movement recently, right? Big jumps. So, it looks like it may be option A, right? Where Bitcoin is coming down a little bit. It found its local top. It's going to take a breather. Maybe it traces even more. But I also said this in my Sunday video. It doesn't matter if it's option A or option B. If you're a long-term holder and you're DCAing, this is great. Nothing to worry about, okay? Because that just means we have more time to dollar cost average at a lower price. That's really it, right? And this is really nothing compared to where we were before. We only shot up here a week ago. Let's not forget, a week ago, we were still in a 34,000, 35,000. So obviously, we're still in a very good spot right now, right? But if we do retrace, let's say, for example, we do go all the way back down to 35,000, 34,000, it happens. Okay, on a grand scheme of things, it means nothing when you zoom out. But short term, we see periods like this where we do see a little bit of retracement every so often, right? It's okay, but what's not okay are the highly leveraged people. And that's what I warned about in my video. If you're highly leveraged, which I know a lot of people are, you get wrecked in these situations because every time you win, you feel like you're a genius, and then you keep upping it. You keep upping the leverage, and you keep putting more money in, and you keep rolling in. And if you're not careful, you're going to get liquidated and lose it all. Let's just check, just for fun. but I'm willing to bet it's enormous amount. Let's just go back 1 hour. I mean, look at those green spikes right there. Okay, that's not what we want to see. We don't want to see the longs get liquidated like that. But that right there is about 33 million, and then another 30 million. And then you add these little spikes. Here's another one that's 10 million, another one that's 16 million. Here's another one at 9 million, right? You add all that up, you're talking about like $100 million within just a matter of hours. 100 million longs liquidated. Okay, here's another one over here too earlier. That's 33 million, right? So the leverage traders get wrecked from moments like this. That's why if you play with leverage, you got to be very careful. You got to be very careful. But if you're a long-term holder, this is just another day in the park, right? So that's what I believe is happening. Basically, you got a lot of leverage traders getting wiped out right now, right? Is it due to the whales and market makers that are playing some games right now, trying to maximize profits, or they're just getting ready for, the spot Bitcoin ETF approval, right? Maybe. We don't know. But I kind of saw this, and I would not be surprised if we continue lower. But I'll also not be surprised we hold at this level and get right back up to 37,000 tomorrow. I mean, we're just talking about 600 points to get back to 37,000. So today is really, on the grand scheme of things, nothing. But again, that's why you got to be careful with leverage. Okay? Everyone seems like they're a genius when they're making money from leverage until they lose it all, and then they hate themselves for it. So just be careful. But speaking of spot Bitcoin ETF, I still believe it could be around the corner, and many people think so. Even Grayscale says they are getting ready, right? Getting ready to convert their Bitcoin trust into a spot ETF, and so many others are also ready. 12 others are all waiting to get approval. And this week, we still have 4 days left this week for the SEC to make a surprise announcement like, yes, we're converting 12 different ones simultaneously. But the thing is, even if they don't, there's many deadlines left, right? So the SEC may just drag their feet on for a little bit. Or maybe they don't. Or maybe they do. It's just a matter of when, not if. If it's not going to be by the end of this year, it'll probably be in January. And if there's an off chance that they don't approve in January, the final deadline is in March, right? Right before the halving event. So again, it's just a matter of when, not if at this point. So it's going to happen soon. And it's going to be marvelous. It's going to be marvelous. There will be so much money coming into the space. It's going to be nuts, especially the timing of it, and possibly in 2024 with the halving event, with everything else going on. It's going to be awesome. Awesome. And we know there's a lot of institutional interest, not only because we got 12 pending spot Bitcoin ETFs, but this morning I covered how CBOE's futures volume is now higher than Binance's for the first time in history. And the CBOE is now going to launch margined Bitcoin Ether futures also. Why are they doing this? Basically, this is just leverage. And why are they doing this? Because the institutional interest is super, super high right now. So we got a lot of institutions waiting to put money into the space, right? And that is about to come. That's why short-term volatility, temporary dips, they mean absolutely nothing on the grand scheme of things. When in doubt, zoom out, and you realize nothing has outperformed Bitcoin in the last 5 years, 10 years, since its existence. And I don't think that's ever going to change due to the inherent properties of Bitcoin, being the most decentralized, most secure network, and also a digital currency that actually can't be manipulated, can't be artificially inflated. You can't apply monetary policy or easing to it. It has a set supply, and it's global. Nothing else fits those things together, right? All right. But what can we look forward to, right? I show you guys a lot of charts, a lot of fractal patterns, and I will continue to show them because right now what it looks like is, yeah, Bitcoin is in a bull market. I've been saying this for a while. It's been recovering since 16,000, and finally now people are recognizing, yeah, now that we're like 36, 37,000, we're in a bull market. Okay, above 30,000 is significant. We have shattered through many moving averages and many wedges like this. And we are about to go higher, way, way higher. And don't let that chart fool you on top. It seems like it's just a direct curve going upwards, but it's not. If we actually zoom in on that, there are so many dips along the way. And if you would have quit at any of those times, any of those dips, well, you would have lost out on so much gains, right? You just like left it on the table. Okay, we're talking about life-changing gains. So you don't want to make sure you don't do that again. If you did, first of all. And for those of you guys that didn't, you just want to make sure you didn't do that. You don't do that this cycle, right? So that is what's coming up. Here's another one that's basically showing it's pretty bullish. We're coming off from the bottom. We're recovering. We're in a bull cycle, and we're going to go much, much higher from here on out. Okay. Last few points. Hash rate. Bitcoin mining difficulty, both are skyrocketing, all-time highs. Part of the growing fundamentals, the miners are certainly not going away. They are not going away. They only spin up more miners at this point, and they don't sell off anything. And 80% of Bitcoin holders right now are in the green. 80%, right? Think about that. Think about that. That is absolutely fantastic. And that number is only going to climb from here as Bitcoin gets stronger and bigger, right, within this cycle. So pretty soon, you're going to have 100% of the addresses. Maybe not 100 because there will always be fluctuations, but pretty soon we'll have 90% in profit, 95% in profit, 99% in profit, right? This will just keep on going up. That's why we continue to stack sats and hodl, and that's it. And wait for the gains to come. All right, that's pretty much it. You know, despite today's fall, something like Ethereum is still holding very strong above 2,000. Just a few days ago, Ethereum was at 1,800. So still holding quite well. And despite others, let me fix this real quick. Despite others falling, what seems to be like a lot today, but again, if you just focus a little bit longer on a bigger time scale, you'll realize that, yeah, that's not so bad. For example, Solana falling about 7% today, but it's up still 35% in a week and is up 147% for the month. So falling a little bit, yeah, that's pretty natural. Polygon falling a little bit, but it's still up 22% for this week and 71% for this month. That's pretty good. Chainlink down 8% today, which is pretty massive, but again, still up 14% in this week and up 100% within the last month. So today it's just kind of a blip, and we may retrace down a little bit further, but that does not mean this run is over, and it doesn't certainly negate all the gains that we've seen in a very quick manner since October till now. So, all right, let's do some Q&A. Whew, I might end that Q&A early today because I have the biggest headache today. I don't know why, but I do have the biggest headache. Let's see. Serge says, I'm a beast. I appreciate that. Eli asks, if you're a multi-coiner, how many coins would you store on each cold wallet? You could store all of them on a cold wallet. You could store them on multiple cold wallets. You could spread around multiple cold and hot wallets. You know, there's really no right or wrong answer. I mean, I like to say, yes, spread as much as possible, but then, you know, that's a lot of recovery phrases and seed phrases you have to remember or write down or store somewhere. So, you know, there's really no right or wrong answer to that. How high do you think Bitcoin will go if ETF applications get approved? I think immediately within the first week, we could see like a 10,000 point jump. So if we see it by the end of the year, we could see Bitcoin being at 45 to 50,000 by the end of this year. I think that's a real possibility. Let's see. Playa 3 all, I think Playable Games released their flagship game Nexus, which is a MOBA game that is live and pretty fun. Also, Multiverse X has Web3 games doing payouts too. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing, but I've never heard of any of those before. I don't know what a MOBA game is. And I've never heard of the other ones that you named. So, but thanks for sharing. Heath, thanks for that super chat. Will XRP finally flip Bitcoin? Hopefully not, and I don't think we will see that for a very, 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 very long time, if ever. But you know, who knows? Stranger things have happened before. How do you like Optimism? Optimism has impressed me. It was clearly the second biggest L2 behind Arbitrum, but recently it's gotten so strong it flipped above. So Optimism is quite impressive. But TVL-wise, Arbitrum still leads. I think Optimism may have gained a lot because of Base. Base uses Optimism code, and you can't buy, you know, Base tokens, so maybe. AMG GT63, I haven't really paid attention to that one. Let's leave this up. Jeff gifted 1 membership. Appreciate that. Been DCing for a year and finally have 1 BDC. Congratulations. I have all my BDC on Robinhood. Do you think it's necessarily a bad thing? If you talk to someone that's in this space, they will tell you that you should remove it off of Robinhood, right? You should get a cold wallet or hot wallet and take it off. And Robinhood themselves have a non-custodial wallet too. So, you know, I would say it's not the worst thing to leave in Robinhood because it's a pretty big brokerage. But who knows, right? I think it's fairly safe, but who knows what may happen. They file bankruptcy, they get hacked or whatever. So it's still good to store your own crypto. Maybe you try out the Robinhood wallet, the non-custodial wallet. Try that, and you know, I think that'll protect you a little more. CPI tomorrow. I read an article that CPI is supposed to go down tomorrow. Okay, from 3.7 down to 3.2 or 3.3. It's supposed to be a big drop tomorrow, so we'll see if that happens. If it drops big, then great. If it doesn't drop as big as people think, or it doesn't drop at all, or it goes up, then we're in we have big problems. But let's hope, fingers crossed, inflation continues to go downwards. Bobby. Been watching George since summer 21, both streams daily. Best info on YouTube, hands down, transparent. As Carly Simon said, no one does it better. Kudos, George. I appreciate that, Bobby. Thank you. Thank you. I can't believe you don't know Multiverse X, formerly Elrond. I do know that. I don't know any of the games that was talked about. And I hate that name. Have you heard of Veracity, and what are your thoughts? Not a big fan of Veracity. I like to know who keeps shilling Veracity because it's not a big project, but yet people keep trying to ask me about it. There's nothing special about the project. Their claim to fame is they can track real views and not bot views. Okay, but no one is using them. You know, you need to get some big streaming platforms to utilize them. And they try to do it themselves, but they're not streaming much. So I'm not a big fan of Veracity. The dip today will end up being a wick to liquidate leveraged players. Massive move to the upside coming, especially as CPAC come numbers. That could be very well true. Okay, like I've always said this: who benefits from liquidations? Exchanges. It seems like we get this all the time, right? You know, a lot of market makers are the exchanges themselves. The MMs, some are, you know, are just MMs, and some are exchanges, and they get to see everyone's books. You know, a lot of times it just falls to a price where it liquidates most, and then it recovers. So that could be very well be the case. Or Bitcoin needs to just retrace a little bit because it's been so hot for so long. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is a temporary, on the grand scheme of things. We will recover, and no one will remember anymore, right? But again, if you're playing with leverage, be careful. I've been playing with a lot of leverage, right? So luckily, I've been having more wins than losses. But today, I did take a big loss because, you know, I had too many 10 and 20Xs opened. And I did get liquidated on some, right? I've like, you know, when I'm playing, I put like 2K, 3K into like 10 different trending coins, and you know, like 2 or 3 gets liquidated, but the rest makes up for it. So overall, I'm still up, but today I took a big loss because I didn't close things out as fast as I should have, right? But again, that's what happens with leverage. When it goes your way, you look like the biggest genius. When it doesn't, then you look like the biggest loser, right? So you got to be careful. You got to set your stop. Either set your stop losses or watch it carefully, and do it in a way where you're being careful, right? You're not going all in. You're not putting all your money in. And many people have told me they have done that before and lost it all. When you get liquidated, you don't recover from it. There's no recourse. If you buy a coin that goes down, there's always a chance it could come back up. But if you get liquidated, that means it's gone. You don't have it anymore, right? So be very careful. Jaya's Party Needs and Accessories. What a name. Thoughts on Caspa? You know, I don't have any thoughts on Caspa. I just know Caspa fans think it's the greatest thing since Bitcoin. That's what I hear. I don't know anything else about them. I do know they're you know, a promising L1. I'll say that, and they're above $1 billion. So obviously they have a lot of fans and a lot of investors. Mars Swap. I'm not the biggest fans of DEXs. It has no volume, basically. It has no volume and no market cap. So I'm going to say no to that. But anyways, overall, I'm just not a big fan of DEXs. I think L1s, L2s, L0s, and now soon L3s are better plays than DEXs. That liquidation talk has me all paranoid. Which part? Which part? How's your headache? Not getting any better. TIA, Celestia. Yeah. This one I'm not sold on. I did a little light research. I mean, it's like a modular blockchain. They formed a few partnerships with like Near and Chainlink, I think. or one of the other ones. But, you know, there's really nothing to explain why all of a sudden they just kind of pumped up. And they're pretty big too. I'm going to do more research into them, but I'm not 100% sold on them just yet. But they have been doing pretty well. They could be a multi-billion-dollar project in the future. But I just don't know enough about them. And their fully diluted market cap is way, way, way higher. So their circulating supply is actually quite low. Yeah. That's 8x. So they release very little. Look at it. They release their circulating supply out of total supply. They release very little, like, you know, 14% of the total supply. That's something that may hurt them in the future. What would it take for Bonk to go to the moon? I don't know. They were doing pretty well already. I'll say this, for meme coins, it's very, very, very hard to break and stay above 150 million. There's something about 150 million that meme coins have a really hard time breaking. If they do and they can hold, then they become the next Pepe. But Pepe, as far as I know, is the only one that has done it within the last 2 years. This, you know, when we had a meme coin run, you know, many, many others got to 150, like Snack, Milady, Pepe 2. They all got to about 150 million, and then they started faltering and came down. They just couldn't sustain. There's something about at that point, it just can't sustain. Bonk was already, it was there. They were about 150 million. So I don't know if they can withstand that and continue upwards. Maybe. If they're the biggest meme coin on Solana, maybe. Axelar, I don't know enough about it. It sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. I don't know what they do. Probably DEX of some sort. Oh no, they're a swap. Yeah. They're a swap. A lot of yeah, I know them. They're a lot of DEXs use Axelar to swap tokens between chains. See this one, it says DYDX. DYDX also is a DEX that utilizes them. It's like really useful, okay? But is it sexy and is it something I want to invest into? The answer is no. Hey, George, I know they are degen play, but why are the small cap AI coins are the best token economics? I don't know the small caps. The AI plays I know are relatively big, like Fetch and Singularity. You know, Fetch, I don't know what they're at. 304, I don't know if you consider that small. Singularity is 300 million. So they're both at 300 million. There was one other in this space that was AI. I forgot what it was. Not many in the AI space. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Not feeling so great. But anyways, don't be discouraged by today's mini retracement. It's not going to last forever, and it's perfectly natural. And unfortunately, we got some fake news today. You know, XRP's ETF seems like it's fake, but it's going to come eventually, just not right now, right? But stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.